Oh, God, this is bringing back memories. Okay, here we go.
Behind the gates, Scientology's international headquarters. They call it INT, or gold.
These are the buildings that were built so that no staff member on the property has to live outside of the fence.
Right. No sooner had we arrived when someone was on our case. You know those chaps?
No, they're hired people.
Let me introduce myself.
Yeah.
Hello, my name's John Sweeney. I'm from the BBC.
All right.
Hi.
What's that?
Who do you work for?
I was hired by legal counsel to document anything.
Thank you very much. This is the nerve center of the global empire. The church describes it as a luxurious place of work, rest and play.
This communal pool and barbecue facility, or the tennis courts, or the basketball courts, or the sand volleyball courts.
But the way Amy describes it, it was anything but.
We're living here on a restricted compound with our whole, no days off, family, you know, lines being cut. I mean, sure, it's beautiful. The food wasn't all that bad, whatever, but it doesn't justify. That is not the world we are trying to create.
And leaving's not easy. In order to go, you face weeks of procedures, sign statements praising the church, and can be handed a bill which can run into thousands and thousands of pounds. The church confirms that members who break their religious covenant have to follow a standard procedure and pay a freeloader debt. It says this is a religious matter between the Sea Org member and the church. You spent the best years of your life behind this fence, and it feels, the way you've been telling it to me, as though you woke up one morning and realized the whole thing was what?
It's a dangerous cult. There's a certain tolerance level that you're willing to make because you do feel it's your spiritual immortality at stake and your family at stake, and you don't have, I didn't have any money or resources or anything to turn back on.
Because this is your family.
It was my life. It was my life since I was 14 years old, and I was in my mid-40s.
A dangerous cult? That's not the word on Hollywood Boulevard. Here, the connection between Scientology, celebrity and success is written on the sidewalk.
It really is fun. Because, damn it, there is nothing better than to going out there and fighting a fight, and suddenly you see things are better. And I think about those people out there who are depending on us.
Being a star means a stellar service. The celebs get their very own churches, luxurious and cosseted. Amy Scobie was in charge of these celebrity centres, and when we go for a wander, it seems we're expected. We've been filming for an hour, and he's still here. Back in 2007, Mike and Tommy had arranged for me to interview Scientology's Defenders of the Faith. I put to them what the British judge had said, that it was a brainwashing cult. The celebs gave as good as they got. Then they refused to let the BBC broadcast their interviews. But we can show them to you now for the first time because the celebs were happy to take part in Panorama Exposed, Scientology's film investigating us, put out after our film investigating them. Executive producer, Mike Rinder. It's a cracking watch.
To this point, having only filmed interviews with detractors, this is Sweeney's opportunity to find out what Scientology really is from those who know best, Scientologists.
It's a sinister, brainwashing cult.
Would you ever sit with a Jew and tell them that their religion was a cult?
No. Some people say, some people say, some people will say, some people say, some people say, some people say, some people say that it's a sinister brainwashing cult. What would you say to that?
I know. Some people have also said that women are really stupid and shouldn't vote.
Some people would say you're a member of a brainwashing cult. Some way brainwashed. You're brainwashed. You're brainwashed.
Do I look brainwashed to you?
How dare you?
What I didn't know was what was going on behind the scenes. Tommy, Ann Archer's son, and Mike were keeping David Miscavige's office informed. His office replied,
"And is this guy's body now many new, torn, worn-to-wall assholes?"
That's my body they're talking about. But some people in Hollywood are no longer in love with Scientology. Jason Begay, star of G.I. Jane and Thelma and Louise, quit after 13 years inside the church.
Don't scream at me. Come on in, welcome.
How do they treat you?
Oh, they're spoiled rotten, you know. They just love bomb the shit out of you. I mean, it's, and it's sincere. It's not a routine. I mean, I could ask for anything, and there would be somebody who would be there to do it for you.
But those days are over. Jason is now campaigning against the church.
Why did I get into it? Because I was interested in finding out about myself and understanding other people. You know, the same reasons anybody might investigate a philosophy or a religion. But I also kind of couched that in the concept that even the best mousetrap in the world isn't going to work without cheese.
And that slice of cheese cost Jason and his wife a bob or two. A rough estimate?
I would say about $1 million.
The church says as a young religion, it depends upon its parishioners as its primary source of financial support. It confirms that some services are free, but members pay fixed donations for others. It adds the donations of Jason and his wife are entirely a matter for them. Back in town, I meet Larry Anderson, star of Martians Go Home and Star Trek Insurrection.
Activating injector assembly. Injector assembly has separated.
Right this instant, you are at the threshold of your next trillion years.
And also the star of the Church of Scientology's recruiting films. He's the face that welcomed you in, and now he too is out.
The choice is yours, not ours.
Larry spent 33 years in the church.
I began to speculate that those early gains and those wins, as they say in Scientology, I was having, I sort of call it bait. It's the thing, it's the hook to bring you in.
Scientology features a series of steps called operating thetan levels, OTs. And for each OT level you have to cough up. The critics say that makes it a pay-as-you-go religion. After spending decades in the church and hundreds of thousands of dollars, Larry does something he's not supposed to do. He looks up Scientology's critics on the internet.
As a Scientologist, you are not only encouraged, you are really have your arms twisted never to look at media. If you see a church story in the church, turn it off, because it'll only destroy the gains that you've gotten up till now. Well, I said, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to go online.
The church says there is no such censoring. It adds people may feel better if they were to cease watching or reading the news when much of the media, such as Panorama, are merchants of chaos. When Larry went online, he discovered a secret that the church had kept from him for 30 years. At the heart of Scientology is this secret, only revealed when you've paid enough to reach operating thetan level 3. They call it the Wall of Fire. Panorama told the secret never to be told back in 1987.
Beings were captured on other planets and flown to locations near 10 volcanoes or more on Earth.
It was Elrond's belief that humanity is infected by spirits of dead space aliens banished to Earth by an intergalactic warlord, Lord Xenu.
A revolt followed of the loyal officers against Xenu. Xenu was locked up in an electronic mountain fortress and remains there still.
Xenu is all over the internet. Ex-members have confirmed its existence to me. And yet you don't get far if you raise the issue with practicing Scientologists. Back in 2007, I put it to the celebs. After all, many of them are operating thetans.
Xenu, an intergalactic warlord, banished souls from alien souls, banished them to Earth and then blew them up next.
Kirsty Alley, operating thetan level 7, said it wasn't true.
Is an evil galactic warlord who blew up bits of aliens.
Juliet Lewis giggled and denied it.
The galactic warlord who 75 million years ago sort of put people's aliens.
John, I already answered this too. I told you it's none of us know what you're talking about. It's like loony. It's weird. It makes you look weird.
But Jason Begay does know about it. He made it to OT3.
The justification for keeping it secret within those scriptures is that this is such powerful information that somebody who hasn't done the previous steps to arrive at being able to be exposed to this would actually probably die. They would go into something called freewheeling, where they wouldn't be able to sleep, and they would go insane, and they would basically die of pneumonia and lack of sleep. Keeping something rare makes it more valuable. And it's a way to keep people interested and to pay a premium to gain the information.
In that sense, or question, is it a religion or is it a racket?
You know, they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, are they?
When you walk into a church of Scientology, no one will mention Lord Zeno, and that makes it completely different from other faiths. For example, Christians don't say, "What's crucifixion?" The church wouldn't respond directly on the Zeno issue, but said that less than 1% of its scriptures are unpublished, and that keeping material confidential is not unusual for a religion. It confirmed that knowledge handed out in its highest levels is restricted until Scientologists are spiritually and ethically prepared to receive it. One of the reasons critics call it a cult is what they do with your darkest secrets.
And does it tell you it's a naughty thought?
Well, it tells me that you don't want to share it, that's all it tells me.
Yes.
Remember how the e-meter picked up that naughty thought I had? Auditing covers every aspect of your life. Work, play, sex, sexuality. And these secrets aren't just between you and your auditor. They're routinely recorded.
There's a specific VIP room for all the A-listers. John Travolta, Tom Cruise, and I audited Tom Cruise there. And there's a shelf in there, and it has a false glass mirror panel behind it. If you pull the strip out, on the other side of it is a video camera.
When I was working for the Scientology organization, I installed over 100 rooms that had 2 cameras and a microphone in them where people would get auditing.
Is the camera obvious?
No.
It's hidden?
Yes, in most cases it's inside of a smoke detector or inside of a picture frame. Or we're talking about pinhole cameras.
The church says it does film auditing, but that this is not a secret and has been announced publicly. Cameras are fitted within walls to stop them being intrusive and unsightly. The church also says that auditing secrets are sacrosanct, protected by priest-penitent confidentiality and never revealed.
What are you seeing? What are you looking at?
Marty sitting in the chair, the e-meter, and on the opposite side of the table, Tom Cruise holding the cans and the whole thing. So I mean, I saw those videos.
And did they include personal things?
Absolutely.
Things that Cruise would not want people to know?
Absolutely.
But the church says recording is not a breach of confidentiality. Other Scientologists are authorized to listen in. Selected staff are given access for the purposes of training and monitoring.